Hey everyone, welcome back to Chillin' After Dark, episode 2. I have with me actor David J. Paul. I'm not sure if he does anything else, directing and all that. I'm sure he'll let you know. But all the way from Florida. How are you, David?
I'm good. Thanks a lot for having me.
No worries. So can you give us a bit of a rundown as to what you did before film or what actually got you into film? Because I did watch a bit of a YouTube clip where you mentioned a few things that you did before film. I think it was sports or something. Is that right?
Yeah. So in 1995, I was a walk-on in LA for the LA Clippers. It's a CBA basketball team. It's the minors to the professional level. So I went out there. I was a three-point shooter, and I broke my foot a couple times when I was playing high level. So I decided to call it quits for basketball. Then I went to rehab for 8 months, got strong again. And then next thing I know, I had the itch again to go professional, but in a different sport. So I went on the PBA tour for professional bowling. I bowled up and down the whole East Coast here in the U.S., from Jersey down to Florida. I did that for a whole year. And then I injured myself in that again. So I had to go back to rehab. So once I did 2 professional sports, made it, I really didn't have enough chance to show people what I could do because I was always injured. So I decided then one day in the rehab facility, while I was building up my strength again, this lady comes over and hands me a business card saying, "Here's my card. I don't know if you'll be interested, but I like your look to become a movie actor." So I said, fine, wait until I'm back and I can get strong again, and so I could walk. So as soon as that happened, she waited for me. So that was pretty impressive because I didn't know who she was. And I said, you know what, since you waited for me, I'm gonna go act in your movie and let's see what could happen. And next thing I know, just it was just natural. I never went to school. I learned how to act on the fly on a real movie set, and then after that I just fell in love with acting, and I wanted to take up my competitive nature in the industry of acting and try and compete at the highest level. And every single movie I've been raising my level higher and higher and higher, and right now I currently don't know where my level is yet because the ceiling's really high with me. So I like to just keep going out there and see how high I could go.
And so was she a director or a producer or just like a casting agent?
Yeah, she was just a casting director. And she was in West Orange, New Jersey, where I was from, where I was born. And it was literally right down the road from where I was staying at my parents' house. I said, damn, what a coincidence. So I just showed up one day as an actor for background. I had to look like a businessman, suit and tie. And there was like 500 extras. It was at a Chinese buffet. It was a comedy called The Homeboy with Downtown Julie Brown. And I did what I had to do. And the producer said, out of 500 of you, we're going to call back just 2 of you to do another extra scene. And the rest of you can wait outside. So they called this Asian lady who blended in because it was a Chinese buffet. So they needed an Asian lady. And then they called my name. I was like, holy shit, you called my name. I'm like, what do I do? So I thought that was kind of cool. And then they said, yeah, man, you didn't speak or anything, but you were right at the buffet with this lady. You were on camera. You look natural, and you should try and pick it up. So I picked up acting. I learned on the fly while I was acting in different movies. I was a background in the TV show Gotham. That was a pretty big show on TV. I was in a scene with the Penguin, so I got more work out of that, learning as I go. I was on the USA Network called Mr. Robot with Christian Slater and Rami Malek. So I did that. I learned on the fly there too. And so I just self-taught myself with the big boys. And now here I am, 95 movies later. Wow. And now I'm a lead actor. Now I'm carrying movies on my own. I'm supporting. I pretty much do it all. And there's a lot more movies that haven't been announced yet. We're kind of keeping it on the down low. But little by little, these movies are now popping up. And now I'm going to start announcing them. So I'm really excited.
And are a lot of them going straight to streaming, or are you doing like the foreign territories first? Is there somewhere we can see like Tubi or Amazon or somewhere like that?
Yeah, so a lot of the big movies that I've been in is finally coming on streaming networks and DVD and Blu-ray. You know, like in the movie industry, as an actor, you get paid just to act. After that, it's up to the production company how fast they want to get it out there, or if they take their time, it could take years, or it could take as quick as a couple months. So finally, there's a lot of movies that are now starting to peek its head out. And there's one called Devil's Night. It's Knight.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, so that's on Tubi right now. I'm in that with guys like Kevin Sorbo, Daniel Baldwin, Eric Roberts, Angie Everhart. I play a Scandinavian warrior, where I'm sprinkled in throughout almost the whole entire movie till almost 3/4 of the way in, and then something happens. But it is what it is. I learned how to sword fight for 48 hours. That was awesome. I was trained by the guy that trained the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So he taught a lot of cool stuff. And I used that as soon as my character was ready to fight. I used everything he trained with me, and it looked really, really badass. And there's a whole bunch of stuff on YouTube. There's a couple movies that went there that was supposed to be features that kind of didn't really go to a feature level because the directors decided to make it a short, which I have no idea why. I like features better, but they're on YouTube. And believe it or not, I tried to make a movie called The Secret Mechanic. I was trying to make that a feature, but I said, you know what, let me create something that's a short film. I want to get the fan participation involved, see if they like the story enough to maybe I will bring it back for a feature. And now there's overwhelming response. And either this year or 2026, we're going to turn the short film that I created called The Secret Mechanic. We're going to make that into a feature film now because there's just overwhelming results on it.
Yeah, okay. And obviously the Mahal brothers are killing it as far as the amount of films are made and the crowdfunding. How was it working with those? Because I did see that film, and I'd recommend people go watch it. Jump on Tubi, watch Devil's Night. David did awesome. Again, yeah, it's got Kevin Sorbo. And what they tend to do is they tend to cast a lot of actors that I suppose were big in maybe the 80s, like Richard Greco and guys like and people like that. And it's good because it's still giving them work, but it's also giving them names for the film to help them with distribution and stuff like that. And the fact that you're in the same pool as those big guys is a credit. And yeah, I like the Mahal brothers. I like the new one they're doing now as well. But what's it like working with them? Obviously, that's a bigger scale production than what some of the ones you might have worked on. Do you prefer working on one that big or smaller ones?
Well, I mean, it's a little bit of both. I like the big ones because it really shows where I am level-wise, and it shows me, okay, I'm keeping up with these guys. Now, can I move beyond these guys? Now, can I be the next big thing? I like working on big projects like that because it kind of teaches me mentally if I could raise my elevation even higher, and it proved that I can. So I like working with the big productions, the big names, because it kind of grounds me and it kind of brings my competitive nature from the professional sports into that game plan. The independent level, which I like it because I could play a really good role as a lead in independent level, and from there, usually what happens is those are the hungrier people because they're the ones that have to make a name for themselves. They're the ones that want to be in the industry and really turn heads. So they go beyond what a big production company does because they have more to prove and a lot less to lose. So I like the independents more only because there's more of a higher ceiling than already a big production level.
And I guess you don't feel as though you're competing against people like Kevin and Daniel and that sort of thing when it comes to those bigger productions, if you're in the indie one and it's just you, then you like you said, you can keep going higher and higher. Whereas you don't have to sort of, I don't know. I don't know if you get nervous, but I guess knowing that those guys are on set, it's like, in a way, I suppose you might feel as though you're competing, and it's not quite as easy as the independent level. Well,
I love well, first of all, I don't get nervous with anything since I've been a professional athlete. It's just already embedded in me for many years. I was always trained to try and be the best at anything that I do. And I took that motivation into the acting world. I want to be the best at what I do. And I want to wear multiple hats to show people I don't only have to just be an actor. So with me, acting with celebrities, which I'm used to doing already, I like that challenge because now I could prove to everybody, including the celebs, that my name belongs up there with the rest of them. And now I can carry bigger movies all on my own. I could work with supporting actors, and now I could help them get better. I'm more of a helper. I'm more of, I've been there. I've done it. I know where everyone's trying to go. So now I know how to help and teach people, as well as me still staying on top. So I enjoy it.
And do you think that being in professional sports helped you if it comes to doing stunts in films as well?
Yeah.
Obviously, you had the experience, and I know maybe with the injuries, you probably don't do them to a certain extent, but that probably correlates from sport into doing stunts if you do your own stunts, which I assume you do.
I love doing my own stunts. It's sort of like Tom Cruise, how he's like the main actor, but he doesn't want anyone doing his own stunts. He wants to do it himself because it's the thrill, enjoyment. And it almost feels like, as an athlete, you're almost at the finish line, but the coach pulls you out. He doesn't want you getting, and then he puts you back in. I hate that. So I go full throttle. I want to do the acting. I want to do the full stunts. I want to do all that stuff. But yes, like you did mention before, I could injure myself again because usually whatever I do with my body, I always go to the full extent. That's coming from the professional level. So I don't know how to take it easy. So usually if there's a stunt or a fight choreograph, or if I have to take a fall, or if I have to do different things, I'll do it. It's almost like, okay, I know I'm going to hurt myself later on. I know it's going to start coming in and creeping up on me, but let me do it right now because I was told to do it right now, and I'll do it. It's sort of like in the movie The Secret Mechanic. There's a scene where this mechanic had to fight me, and he says, "Do you want me to take it like easy? Do you just want to do a fight choreograph?" I'm like, "No, I want to go all out. I want to look real." So he says, "Okay, what do you want me to do?" When they say action, I want you to grab me, and I want you to ram me as hard as you can on my back against a truck. And then I want you to hit me so I can go down. So I want an actual fight. And it actually happened, and it came off really well. It didn't come off fake because I don't like stuff looking fake. I like it to look as real as possible. So in order to do it real as possible, especially in the industry of the movies, you have to go that full mile. If you don't do it, it's going to look fake and cheesy. And I don't want to be a part of something like that. I want it to be the real thing. So he said, okay.
Were you pulling your punches in the Secret Mechanic, or you were actually hitting each other?
Well, with the punches, yeah, we were faking that one for sure.
Yeah.
But we came pretty damn close. Like, so with punching, I usually know how to make it as close as possible to actually connecting, but I'm not connecting. But I make it to the point where I work with those people as long as I have to, because one slight move of the face, of the head, you will get contacted. So I got hit once when I taught somebody how to headbutt. I said, you're going to use your hand, you're going to put your head on my head, but you're going to act it, you're going to stage it. So like we headbutt each other. And I said, this is how you're going to do it. So I showed him first. He said, okay, cool. They said action. He did it. He actually headbutted me. I had marks on my forehead for months. But I enjoy it. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy the fight choreograph. But there is a level where I can't go too far when it comes to my lower back. That's where I injure myself in professional levels. So I kind of don't go all the way with the back situation. Other than that, I just go all out.
And when you did Devil's Night, did you sustain any injuries during the sword fighting, either practicing or while you're actually on set? Any because I assume that they're not using real swords, but any like bruises or cuts or anything like that?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's bruises because you got to take falls and you got to learn how to do different fights. You can't look like a pansy out there. It's medieval time, you know, so you can't look like a sissy.
Yeah.
But there was times where they were teaching how to do a forward roll on the ground and possibly some flips here and there. I told the trainer I can't do that because I know for a fact I know how high I could go level wise with my back. So when we're doing that, I said, yeah, I got to pull out on the flips and rolling over on the back because I sustained injuries back when I was pro. So they said, okay, no problem. Let's just do like rolls and stuff like that. Let's do different things. Yeah. So as long as you talk to people that you're about to be in a fight choreograph, as long as you speak up and tell them I could do this, but I can't do that, they'll listen to you and they'll find another way for your character to look really good. But if you don't speak up, they're going to expect you to do it, and then you're going to be in big trouble. You're going to look really bad out there. But other than that, it came up pretty well.
Yeah, it looked good actually. And what you were saying about doing your own stunts, I think it was the Marine, maybe John Cena was in or something. And the other reason him and Tom Cruise said they like doing it is because sometimes when you see people do stunts, you can tell it's not the actual person, it's the stunt double. And that's why a lot of the stunts are done far away. But when they're close up, that's why Tom Cruise, so you can actually see it's them. And I suppose that brings more authenticity to it if you're actually seeing as close as possible to the real person. Because even with The Rock, some of the stunts you can see it's not The Rock when they're doing the fight scenes and things like that. And so I guess in a way that's another reason why a lot of people that do their own stunts prefer to do it, so that you can see that it's actually that person. Which I prefer, but obviously not everybody wants to do their stunts for safety wise, so that's I guess why they have stunt doubles. Yeah,
well, I'm all for it, and especially if you're not doing it yourself and it's your character, they're not going to do zoom ups on you. They're going to do it far away.
No, that's right.
And I hate that. I want everyone to know this is the real deal. This guy's not bailing out because he's a sissy. He doesn't want to get hurt. I like to go all the way so you can zoom in and you can say, oh shit, he's actually a big part of this movie, and he's actually still doing the fight choreograph. That gains respect for people in this industry, and I love the respect, and I like to go all out on anything that I do.
And so you've just been cast in another film, which is happening in the UK, which I'll see you there. I'll be able to meet you in person. It's called The Veil of Silence by Mike Davies, and that's being filmed in Liverpool, and you've been cast as the lead, correct?
Yes, sir.
I've got the book. I started reading. It's pretty interesting. What drew you to the? First of all, is he asking you to do an English accent, or you'll be doing it in American? And what drew you to the character of? Is it Thomas? I think it's Thomas.
Yeah. So I'm really humbled and blessed that Mike Davies has been following me for quite some time. He's been watching my work. He's been following me for a good while. He knows I play villain roles a lot, and I'm so used to it that I'm actually, scary enough, unbelievable enough to just do it naturally. So when Mike Davies, when he approached me about his new movie, his book turning into a movie, he said, I would like for you to read the book and let me know what you think about this character named Thomas Green. I said, okay, absolutely. So I read the book. From beginning to end. I actually read it 3 times because with me as an actor, how I get into the character, I like to take notes about the actor first. I mean the character. Then I like to take notes of the whole story. Then I like to put it in my perspective of like what this character would do if I was him. So I did it 3 times. All 3 times, I was still excited to keep reading the story, keep reading the book, and I see such huge potential in this kind of movie. So when I talked to him and I said, wow, you're going to turn this into a feature. He's like, yeah. And he says, you like Thomas Green? I said, I love Thomas Green. Like, this is right up my alley. This is what I've always been playing. I've been playing villain roles for the longest time. And if you just show me, just by direction of how you want me to do this role and how you see Thomas Green, I'll nail that instantly. I will be Thomas Green in a heartbeat. So if I come on set and you tell me we only have 30 minutes, I will walk on set. I will mentally be Thomas Green, and I won't stop until they say cut. And he says, okay, great. I see you playing Thomas Green. So what would you think? I said, I would love to. I would love to play Thomas Green. I would love to bring him to reality. I would love for the world to see how horrible this character really is. See him in the dark alley. Yeah. And he says, well, then you got the role. So I was really humbled and blessed. Nice. And I'm really, really excited to become Mr. Thomas Green and do the dirty work and make it as close as possible to his actual book telling.
Nice. And he is running a crowdfunder. So I'll also link that again in this video. Still 20 odd days to go. Hasn't quite gotten to where he wants to get to. So if you do want to see David and others, Amber and a few others as they get announced in the film, make sure you jump on and contribute. And I think he's doing a link. If you contribute to the Veil of Silence, excuse me, you get some part in a new one he's doing called Ashes to Ashes, which is happening next October. So what have you got coming up in the meantime that, or before the Veil of Silence, that you're able to maybe talk about or not give it away, that people might be interested in seeing?
Okay. So I'm currently acting as the lead in this supernatural horror film. It's currently being filmed as we speak. We're 2 weeks into it already. It's called When Death Calls. I already made a post on that on my page. This movie is a really dark movie. We just brought in a celebrity friend of mine who I already worked with before. Her name's Sandy Johnson, who played Judith Myers in the Halloween movie. She's playing the therapist of my character. My character pretty much hears voices in his head the whole time. He doesn't know where it's coming from. He's hearing weird noises, and he's being bullied at work. So what's happening is he doesn't know what's real or what's imaginary. It's similar to A Veil of Silence, Mike Davies' movie. So I'm literally playing Thomas Green all over again, but in this movie. So it gives me a perfect way of warming up to A Veil of Silence. And more and more of the killings that my character does in When Death Calls, the more I become stronger. And the more the voices become more apparent. And the more I start realizing who I am becoming. Instead of being a geek in the office, being bullied on. Now I'm getting from nerd to a good-looking, well-dressed man. Now I'm coming in my own. And then with more kills, I become something at the very end that people would not really expect. So it's a supernatural horror. There's jump scares. It's scary. There's a lot of good cast in it. The crew's great. There's a lot of big promise of what's happening after the movie's released. It's going to be worldwide distribution. There's going to be a movie red carpet premiere at the big screen in Altamont Springs in Florida, among other places. And there could be a sequel following that. So nice. That's happening now. I played the lead villain in Return of the Corn Zombies. That's a zombie feature film that is coming out on Bayview Distribution. It should be coming out any month now on DVD, Blu-ray, all streaming networks worldwide. Devil's Nights Out. There's other movies that myself and my good friend Melissa Coles is creating. There's a Western movie, which her and I always wanted to be in, called All in the Hands. That's what it's called. All in the Hands, Western that we're creating. It's already up on IMDb. We did not make any castings yet because her and I are the casting directors, but we're also two of the leads in the movie. I'm playing Colton. I'm playing the leader of my own gang riding into town. And, of course, as the bad guy, you know what happened. I always like to cause trouble, and that Western's going to be really exciting. There's a thriller movie that we're making called Silent Entry. That's a home invasion type thriller feature film that we're creating. I'm actually playing a good guy for once, so that would be cool. There's a drama movie. People always want to ask me, you know, have you ever played a drama before. Have you ever did anything but horror, thriller, action? So now I'm going to show them a little different side of me in the drama. So you can watch Secret Mechanic on YouTube, which is now going to become a feature film, hopefully in 2026. But there's so much more that I would love to talk about, but I'm going to be going into 40, 50 upcoming movies, which we don't have time for.
No. So I'll link The Secret Mechanic down here as well. But sounds like you're pretty busy. And so do you prefer the horror genre? Because the good thing that I like about the horror genre is there's so many different subgenres within it. Like you said, thriller, there's the home invasion, you know, sci-fi, there's slasher. I just finished a version in St. Louis, which was a psychological thriller. I flew over there to make it with Christina Lafser and all those people, Celeste Blandon and Angel Bradford and the likes. And that was a really quick 12-day shoot. But this October, I'm making the new one that I'm doing now called The Cursed, and I'm going to make that here. But a lot of people here don't seem to like the horror genre too much. They don't follow it as much. It's just what I prefer to do. I like actions and stuff, but I just find that it tends to sell a bit better as well, and for some reason people like to be scared. Do you prefer the horror genre, obviously, but you're willing to do other ones, I guess?
Yeah, I'm, believe it or not, a lot of people don't know this, but I'm a big history buff. Ever since I was a kid, history fascinated the hell out of me, and it always came back to the Westerns. I don't know why, but I've been so fascinated by history in the Old West. And I just love that era for some reason. And it always stuck with me as a kid until now, and it'll always be there. So I love Western movies. I was asked numerous times to be in Westerns. I said, hell yeah, but it just never came to, fruition. So I contacted Melissa and I said, we gotta do a Western. I'm tired of being asked to do it and it never happens. And she said, well, me too. So we decided to turn this into a treatment. We're making the script right now as we speak. And Westerns is one of my favorites. So we're going to be doing Westerns. I love horror films because as a kid, again, I love being scared. I love the horror industry. It actually is the #1 industry in the movie genre right now. So it's easy to make. People love getting scared. It's just embedded in me as well. But other than that, I am definitely willing to act in any other kind of genre that there is because I just love acting. And I love, using my skills and bring it to different characters to bring them to life. And like I said, it's cool being in a whole different reality, a whole different world, and living in a new character. And you never have to get in trouble for it. So that's the best part.
Are there any roles you wouldn't play? I know a few people that said they draw the line at playing like a pedophile role or sometimes a serial killer role. Are there particular characters or roles you wouldn't do?
Well, I mean, as an actor, it's all acting, right? Nothing's ever the truth. So as an actor, I like to hone in my skills no matter what the role is. There is definitely some tough roles in my mind. I'm like, oh my God, I got to prepare myself for this kind of role. This is going to haunt me for a while in my head when I'm done. Yeah. That's how I feel usually with some of the roles. But I'm the kind of guy that is a professional, coming from the professional athlete world. So if you want me to play a role and no one else wants it, dude, it's acting. It's fake. Yeah. I'll take it. I really don't care. Even though if people come and comment saying, oh my God, what an asshole he is. Like, I can't believe what kind of jerk off he was by doing that. I'm not a fan of his. Well, guess what? It's acting. If I believe I'm that kind of guy, I did damn well good job, didn't I? So, to answer that question in a nutshell, I would say yes to any kind of role that comes to my mind, as long as, I could wrap my mind around it. I could become that actor, and I don't have to be too deep and too long in the character. Because the longer you're in that character, if it's a disturbing character, it's hard to get out of your mind, and it's hard to get out of that character when you're even done filming. So the sooner I could do it, the faster I could get out of it. I'm happy.
Yeah, nice. Now, I was chatting when I chatted to August and Amber. I was mentioned about being extras because August was an extra on a version, and a lot of people here don't like being extras. They want either talking roles or, you know, they're like, what's the point? And I keep saying, well, imagine Gladiator without any extras. What's obviously, you said you did some background stuff. What's your feeling on being an extra, and how important do you think it is in the scheme of making films?
Well, being an extra is important because if you're in a movie, you're just as important if you have no speaking lines than you are if you're a lead actor. Because every kind of that's in there, it's part of the movie. It's what makes that movie work. It's what tells the story, no matter who you are, no matter what you do. So being an extra is very important just as much as anything else. Number two, it's good to be an extra because you get to meet all different kind of new people you never met before in your life. And if they're in the industry just like you are, you don't know who you're talking to with an extra to another extra. Because maybe if I'm talking to you, right, and we meet together on set, we're both extras. I'm a people talker. I'll introduce myself. You introduce myself to me, and I say, so you have anything going else on in the industry? Even though we're both extras. And you're like, yeah, actually, I'm a production. I own my own production company. I'm making another movie that's coming out after this, and it's going to be a big blockbuster. Like, you don't know who you're talking to, even though you both decide you're going to be an extra in one movie. A lot of it's also networking when you're an extra in movies. So you could be talking to the next freaking Brad Pitt, all you know. You don't know. So, and also it's about learning. It's about learning how to act instead of acting school. It's learning how people get it done on a real movie set. So you gain your experience that way as well. So being an extra is just as important as any other role.
Yeah, and obviously there is sometimes a lot of waiting around as an extra, but there's a lot of waiting around as a actor as well. So, and I agree 100%. I've done extra roles where I got on set at 9 o'clock and didn't film till 2 in the morning, but I went up and I was able to interact with like the camera department, the director, see how they work, and just get a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of feel for how that all works before I went on set. And most of the times, the independent sets are willing to do that. They're like, okay, you want to learn or even help out. Sometimes I'll move lights around and things like that just to keep busy, you know, because if you don't have any lines, you don't really have much to study. But yeah, it's unfortunate that some people just don't see the point in it. But I mean, I guess they're not the serious ones in the industry. And most of the indie films you're in, are a lot of them crowdfunded, or do you find that some of them are self-funded?
So a lot of the bigger ones that I'm becoming to act in now, a lot of them are self-funded. Okay. They don't really network that and talk much about that, but it already is funded based on either the producers of the project or the production company. Usually if you see crowdfunding or Indiegogo with some of these movies and they're asking for $5,000-$10,000, that's just added extra bonus money to pay the actors a little bit more out of pocket. Okay. And it's more of like helping the back end for other people, maybe get props, maybe outfits or something like that, maybe networking, advertisement, but usually those are already self-funded. They just don't tell you that. There's others that, you know, I understand that they want to make movies, but they don't have money. So they usually say it's a non-paid gig. You get deferred pay on the back end when the movie gets picked up for distribution. And I said, okay, well, I would like to have a contract saying how much I'm going to get paid on the back end when you get picked up. And it also depends on what the role is. If it's a big role, I'll take it and I'll sign a contract and I'll waive my acting fee. And I'll say, okay, give me 10-15% on the back end for deferred pay off residuals of what you make off your movie for distribution. And if you do merchandising, I like to get 5% or 10%. And usually if those are the kind of deals that are on the table and we both agree, I'll sign it. I don't always, you know, accept money up front because, you know, I like to help the production of like whoever's hiring me. And tight on money, I'm not a jerk. I don't say I want everything up front or else I'm not acting like other people do. Or, you know what, it's a short film or even if it's a feature, you only get $5,000. there's some people that say, okay, I want to get paid up front plus airline tickets. I'm like, dude, but you're not recognizable. You're nobody right now. Why would you expect that?
Yeah.
I mean, all of us have to do what we got to do to show our skills, act, hone in our skills. And if you really love the field, you love the craft as actors, you would take any kind of role that comes your way and find a way to get there, like a lot of us do if we're real passionate about it. And then if the movie does get picked up and you already signed that contract, you're still getting paid regardless. You're not just not getting up front. So a lot of people, they expect to have it the other way around, which I talk to the production, I see, and I try and understand where you guys are at funding wise, and then we'll make something happen. But like I said, I'm very humbled. I'm really happy to be in the industry, really excited. And more big jobs are always coming. The more that you act and the more that people see what you could do in these movies, the bigger roles come your way. And then once that happens, then the bigger paydays come. So it's just do your thing, stay in the same path, and don't become all about greed. If you become about greed and it's all about you're not going to succeed in this industry.
Yeah, and that, I think that's a really good point. Like for myself, you know, I didn't take anything from Aversion because I put the money back into it, and it just so happened to be fortunate enough that from Aversion, I've met Amber and a few others that have now brought me on board of the Valor Silence and the Ashes to Ashes, which is happening in Buffalo next October, and they're flying me over there for both productions because they like what I did on Aversion. And I'm not saying by any means I'm one of the big professionals. I just surround myself with people that happen to know a bit more than me, and I try to learn off them. But it just happened to be from a chance meeting. I was willing to go to America to do it. A lot of people aren't. And from there, I made some connections that have now allowed me to be able to do some more international films as well as mine. And I went to a networking night last night, and I've already had people say, "Oh, let me know when you're on the next film." And the actor that was on Aversion then just contacted me and said, "Oh, can I let a camera guy and director get in contact with you on how to do another film?" So it's sort of snowballed from one area to another. But I find there are people that just are getting left behind because they're just, and here it's just more of a hobby. People are just doing it as fun. There's not a lot of the films you can see anywhere, and there is a vast difference between America and here, and even the UK, the way films are made, professionalism wise, and sort of as a part-time job as well. And I think people should, like you said, should just take whatever comes along. And if it is deferred, as long as you have all the paperwork, even simple things like NDAs when you have scripts, a lot of people don't sign them and then stuff gets leaked. But as long as there's contracts in place and they're happy, and like you said, they're happy to do it, then why not? But yeah, there are people that think that they're if they were chocolate, they'd lick themselves to death. So it's you know, one of those things. But thanks for this, David. I'll let you go because I know it's getting on about 40 minutes or so. But is there any advice you'd give to anybody out there that wanted to just get into the industry, regardless of whether it's acting or on the other side of the camera, but they're a bit shy, or they're sort of deliberating whether they go to film school or not? Is there any advice you give them about doing it?
Yeah, first and foremost, do not let fear overconquer you. If you get fear, especially in this industry, you're going to fail instantly right away. And that's because in acting, you cannot show that. In acting, it's about you being in front of the camera, being in front of people, and you have to be a go-getter. You don't necessarily have to go to acting school. I've never went to acting school, and I'm doing pretty well myself in the industry. So acting school is more about, oh, can you pay me this amount of money so I can get rich out of your pockets? And I'm not going to get your work regardless, even if I say so or not. So a lot of the stuff, it's all fake. It's all fraud. People won't get you work regardless. I know a lot of people that went to acting school, and a lot of them paid a lot of money, and they still never get work from those guys. So I always say, don't worry about this acting school crap. Just self-teach yourself. Go on the actual movie sets yourself. Start off like I did. Find ways to be an extra. Find ways to be a featured extra. Get on movie sets. Interact with people there. Those people are the ones that could actually give you a shot because they see you right in front of them in person. And they see that you're hungry because you're there. From that point on, just keep networking. You're the product. You got to sell the product. That's you. So make people believe that you're hungry enough that you want the job. And then from that point on, try and become that role as best you can. When they say action, make sure you deliver the best you can. And like I said, we're all human. We all make mistakes. If it doesn't work out, then there's other movies after that. This is the best industry to be in, because you could be any age. There's no age limit. You could continually acting to the day you die. You just got to keep pushing it. You can't wait for people to come to you. It will never happen that way, and you won't succeed.
No, that's right.
You always got to push and always network.
And is the best place for people to get in contact with you through IMDb or like on any other social media? Because I'll link it in here as well.
So my Facebook page is the one I'm on a lot. That's where I do a lot of my business, especially on Facebook Messenger. So if they go to David space the letter J period space Paul, Paul, just like how it's spelled here in this show, you can find me. It will have me as a public figure. My banner will have the picture of when death calls. I'm always on there. I'm also on Instagram. If you go to david.j.paul, I'm starting to use Instagram a lot more. That's on there too. Plus, you could always email me if you guys are interested in collaborating, working, or whatnot. You could go to dpaul.lawrence45@gmail.com. In the middle of Paul Lawrence, there's only one L. There's not two back to back. So it's dpaul.lawrence45@gmail.com. And I am constantly going all over the place to act all around the world. I'm excited to go to the UK. I want to act a lot more over in the UK and over the pond and everywhere else out there too, as much as here in the States. So I'm ready. Just give me a good role and let me read it, and I'm there.
Hopefully one day I can get you here to Australia. But it's going to be good to finally meet you in person anyway on the Vale of Silence. And it's been a pleasure. I know this is what you do full time, and you're passionate about it. And I'm looking forward to seeing more productions that you do. And good luck with everything. And we'll keep in touch.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. It was a blast.
No worries. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Sorry, morning. It's evening here. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for that.